Hey everybody, Boom here. Boom762 of Talk Bass. I've been wanting to do a bass tag for the MAXPROUD channel for a long time. I think it's a really good idea. It's 10 questions posted out to bass players. Stuff that you would normally talk about at a guitar center if you crossed each other. It was supposed to be my first video I ever did once I got my setup going here at the house, and life happened and got in the way. But I'm finally able to do it. And first question, why the bass? It was by accident. When I was 6, up until then, I grew up singing in churches, and outside of gospel music and country music, there was no musical world out there for me. And I was at a babysitter's house, and she was listening to the radio, and I didn't know it at the time, but the song Enter Sandman by Metallica kicked on, and it was like the first song that when I heard it, it really did something to my insides. I had a cousin that played guitar, and when I asked him what that sound was that I was going for, I described it as like an axe chopping into wood, that chick, chick, chick. I know now it was a palm muted distorted guitar, but he told me it was a bass. He didn't really understand what a 6-year-old me was saying. And that kind of set the standard of what I thought I liked. So I always run around saying I like bass. And then eventually, once I figured it out, I still like palm muted distorted guitar. But I really started to pick out the bass lines of songs, and I really liked that deep tone that came through. I liked how you could be doing harmonies to what the guitar and what the vocals were doing, and it was like the bass that really made you get goosebumps in some songs, just the way that they carried it on. And that pretty much started it all. That's what grew everything else. Over time, I started liking that the strings were bigger, they were further apart. I didn't have to use a pick. I always hated using a pick. I'll get to that later. It was kind of a destiny. I don't know. I like it. I've always dug it. Second question, did you play or start out on the guitar before the bass? Kind of. Yes. I don't know if you can call it playing. My first actual musical instrument that wasn't like a recorder was a acoustic guitar my mother got for me for Christmas when I was younger. She went across the border and got one from over there. And once the nylon strings broke off the top 3, I would just kind of get around it. I was pretty much doing bass lines on the guitar. I never learned how to do chords or anything at that time. And how I would actually play, and this comes into how I developed my own style later, I would lay the guitar on my lap and use my thumb to hit the strings and this thumb to fret. It's actually really hard to do now. I've not done that in a while. Let me fix the mic. It's a little crooked. So, technically, I owned a guitar first, but it wasn't, but maybe 2 or 3 years later, I ended up finding the death bass, which you can see videos of that on the channel. And then that was my first quality instrument that I had. I played tuba, baritone, and trombone in band, but it's not the same. And I doubt I can play that now. I bought a cheapy trombone off Craigslist a couple of years ago, and I ended up blowing air into it a couple of times, but I lost the ability to buzz and all that, so it's right back to home bass, pretty much. Number 3, what is your main bass right now? The Ibanez 305DX, I think it's a 2006 model. One of the only differences is you can see it's got these like little stacked knobs on the side, and it still has the input on the actual side instead of those goofy side grooves. I don't understand why anybody would want a plug coming out the front of their instrument when all their stuff is behind them, but whatever. I guess some people are into it. Used to always be 4 strings. This was my first 5-string, and I got it to teach myself 5-string, and it worked. I mean, now I prefer 5 for sure. I used to use it as a crutch to go back to the 4. There were songs from like Maiden and anything with some speed and a lot of movement going on. And I would always go back to 4 because at first, the 5 string, I kept getting my fingers crooked. This finger would be on the E, and I'd be fretting the A. And I couldn't figure out what the hell's going on. And I finally figured it out. Over time, I've adjusted, but at the time when I first got this neck was way too wide. I like itty bitty necks, like the SX basses. I have actually one right back here. You can see that my hand will completely engulf this little thing over here. I mean, that's a small neck right there. I held a 9-volt up to it one time, and the 9-volt was longer than the neck was wide, and I loved that. So this was an adjustment to get to, but eventually I think I'm right at the precipice of staying 5 forever. I don't think I'm gonna go back 4. Power Glove, that's a band that I end up using the low B a lot, because not necessarily for the open notes, but just to not have to play way the heck down here for something I'm doing up here. So I'm pretty much 5, and this is it. I'm looking at some other basses right now. I really dig the deep growly sounds like Warwick and Spectre, and I'm actually looking at getting into a Spectre right now and buying the EMG set that's in Alex Webster's signature Spectre. I love that deep, and it's something that you can't get on this. I don't know. I don't hear it on an Ibanez especially. I love Ibanez necks. I don't know, but their sound is kind of clean. I like having it, but it's not what my my insides, my soul, my tone needs to be. And bass players, you know, are really harsh on what kind of tone they want and what they're looking for. I think I already answered this one. Do you prefer 4, 5, or 6? 5 for right now. I don't think I'll ever go bigger than that. Who was your first bass mentor? I've had a lot. And my mentors kind of came to me as I got into different types of music growing up. My first was Cliff Burton. When I first got the death bass, all I wanted to learn my cousin kept telling me, like, you need to learn an easier song than Anesthesia Pulling Teeth. I said, no, that's all I want. That's all I want in this world, is to be able to play that song, and then I'll be happy. I don't care if I learn anything else. I never really learned the whole song. I should probably do that someday. But Cliff Burton was my first. Then he was replaced by, who was it? Justin Chancellor of Tool. I was a big Tool head, and that's all I would do is learn and play Tool. I knew just about every Tool song out there. More came and went. Eventually, Alex Webster was a hero of mine, and then had some personal life decisions, choices, whatever you want to call them. I had some changes in my life going on, and I don't listen to Cannibal Corpse anymore. I think at least for right now and the last couple of years, my all-time most respected bass player is Billy Sheehan. That guy could not demonstrate how awesome he was in Mr. Big, but he's the most knowledgeable, easy talking kind of guy. At least that's how he is on the videos. For example, if you look at the Hardkey stuff, everybody else, Victor Wooten, they all have these really short 3-minute, this is, you know, what I sound like when I play, and it's over. And that was the advertisements for the amps. But Billy Sheehan did 6 videos on the LH1000, the LH, no, it wasn't the LH, it was the Kilo, and the different high drive cabinets that he uses. And there's been some challenges with this LH1000, and if it weren't for those videos, I'd have been stuck, because figuring out how to hook things up correctly in the back and what the switches do. That's what his videos do. So he's kind of my bass hero right now as far as talent, knowledge. It's one of those things where, like, if you could play with any bass player for a day or get like a private lesson, who would it be? More than likely mine would be Billy Sheehan, hands down. That guy seems like a fun, well-versed guy, and I think you would learn a lot from playing with him. What finger playing style do you like? I've never really gotten great with the pick. I had to pick up the pick for 6-string guitar once I started getting into that and playing Megadeth and stuff. But my thumb was always the first thing. It evolved from playing on my lap, like I was showing you earlier, to playing more upright, using these fingers to fret, but I still use this as my pick. I grow my thumbnail out just a tiny bit, and I can do pick stuff pretty much. I thought I invented it for the longest time, and I was gonna make up a name for my style of pick, and then I realized just like a year or two ago, the first Fenders, Leon Fender, that's why he put that darn bar down here. He expected you to put your fingers there and use your thumb to play. So by a long shot, I didn't invent it, but that was my main go-to. Now I pretty much use my fingers. The stuff that I write, I still use my thumb because you can... It'd be harder to do that with my fingers, but because of Iron Maiden and because of a lot of the older Metallica, I still go fingers, and I don't know, there's something... I can't explain it. It makes it more bassy, I guess. It's kind of more fun. This is where I go when I'm writing something precision-y. This is where I go when I'm just doing a little riff. I'm trying to learn jazz and country bass lines. I'm all by ear, so I'm trying to pick up on them and try to figure out, how they play. Wow. Hadn't played Wagon Wheel in a while, and all that stuff is made up anyway. As I want there to be more notes in there than what there are. Can't do pop and slap at all. I can... The one riff that I've ever practiced besides Hush from Tool was that Chili Peppers one. Yeah, it's awkward. That's really awkward. I can't do that. I wish I could. It seems really fun, and it definitely has its uses, but it's just not for me. There's something that doesn't click right in my head for pop and slap and all that. What style of music do you love playing bass to? Everything. I grew up on the metal. So for a while it was thrash or it's not worth it, and I grew up and grew out of that mentality, and I don't know, if it has a good bass line, I'll play it. I've played everything from punk to gwar to death metal to everything. Right now I'm doing country and stuff like that. I don't like playing to really slow stuff that it doesn't seem like there's a lot of I don't know, just playing around on the fretboard. I don't like that kind of stuff. I want there to be extra notes, and if there's not enough notes, I'll add my own to it. Excuse the cold. I've got something going on. I've been on a cool vegan diet, and allergies went out the window, all these cool benefits, and then last night after 3 weeks, I had a whole bunch of dairy and meat and all that stuff, and today I woke up feeling hungover and coughing and all kinds of stuff. Number 8, play upright bass, synth bass. No, I don't. I know a line that you can do on an upright bass. I guess you could pretend. Some of y'all might know this. If you know it, be the first to post that you know it, and that's how we'll know that you're elite and better than everybody else, by putting first. Again, if you know it, tell us. It'd be awesome. I would probably be comfortable somewhat playing an upright bass, but never a synth bass. I would know what I'm doing. Number 9, read notation, play by ear or tablature. By ear. Rarely I'll need to look for tabs, but I've really been disappointed with tablature over the years because it's made by people that think they know what they're doing, and then you get in there and you're like, the song doesn't do that. What are they talking about? The first time I ever auditioned for a band, I got booted, even though me and the drummer were like perfect and we were digging each other. The lead guitarist, singer, leader of the band, he didn't have an ear for music, and we were listening to what was that band's name? Green Day. We were doing a Green Day cover, and I don't know the name of it, but I think he thought it was supposed to be played like, hold on. No. See, it's gonna take me a while. It's been a long time since I played it. He wanted me to do that for 3 minutes solid, and when you listen to the song, it's like, something like that. It was more fun to play, and he was like, no, the tabs are from Guitar World or Guitar Ultimate Tabs, and these are correct. I know for a fact, and I don't know. I wouldn't have lasted long in that band anyway. But, so yeah, by ear. I can't do notation. I used to be able to do it when I played band instruments, brass. I don't know how I was able to do that, and especially on the different instruments where they're all on different parts of the bars and stuff. But even in band class, they wouldn't teach us the cool music like the Star Wars Imperial March. So I had to wing it and do it by ear just to entertain myself with the tuba and all that. If I can't play it by ear, I will try to find someone on YouTube that can play it and try to figure out from looking at their fingers what they're doing. But it's only the really, really complicated stuff. There's a line in a Hammer Smashed Face that I never got to play perfect because I can tell I'm playing it wrong. I know by ear it's not the notes, but I just can't find the notes because there's too much chaos going on in that song. How did it go? There we go. I know that's not right. I already know it. But I can't find the correct way, and all the tabs are wrong because I went looking for tabs and all of them were not it either. That's how I made up my own Webster riff, so that's how I tend to play it. It's a really fun song to play, by the way. Let's see, number 10. We're already at the end, and that rhymed. Is there an instrument you don't play but wish you could? Yeah, there's a lot of instruments that I wish I could play. Piano would probably be the number one. piano goes with everything. You can find a way to mix in a piano or a keyboard. Is that still on? Yeah. Let's take that off. Winging it by ear. I used to have a keyboard, and I taught myself how to play The Undertaker's theme from WWF, or E, or whatever they're calling themselves today, and Kane's intro. Those were two of my favorites as a kid, and if you don't know who Kane is from wrestling, don't bother looking into it if you don't watch wrestling, but just listen to his song. It's got this cool, I don't know what you'd call it, like a 4-part harmony thing going on that blew my mind the first time I heard it, and once I figured out how to play it, I was ecstatic. That's still, to this day, it's the only two things I can play on a keyboard. When I was real young, I visited my uncle, who's a pastor, and I think it was Christmas, and I taught myself the first Noel, but single keys, and that's the biggest problem with me and piano. I wouldn't be able to do this with this hand and do it faster and different pattern over here with this hand and blend them together. Even with the bass, I'm tending to do this. When I hit down on a note, I'm using the hammer-on to give the thumb a break or the fingers a break or whatever. Lots of hammer-ons and pull-offs, and that's how I envision it. I'm doing this a lot, and because it's an exact opposite, it's easier for me to grasp. But that is my bass tag. I hope you learned some stuff. Like it if you liked it. Don't if you don't. There's a dislike button too. I don't know if you know that, but there is. I won't say subscribe. You don't have to bother subscribing. A lot of people are into that subscribe stuff, and I'm not making millions off this. I mean, there ain't no way that's gonna happen. So if you don't subscribe, that's perfectly fine. Just check back on the channel every once in a while. I might have something cool for you. Bass reviews or whatever. Anyway, thanks to Earl from the MAXPROUD channel for starting this thing. It was fun. I've enjoyed watching all the other bass tags out there, and I'll see you around.